think we can start now. First time I presented test case management in JIRA 3 years ago, and there were over 200 people at my presentation. And that because the topic was very hot at that time. And despite the lunchtime, I see still many people is here, so I'm glad the topic is still hot. So in my presentation, I defined 10 most important viable requirements for the viable test case management solution in JIRA. It's Vlad's 10 commandments. And this is from QA perspective. And we'll go over each of them one by one, and then I will show you a demo of my preferred test case management add-on, which is synapseRT from GoToGroup. Yeah, I will show you. This one is not working. Okay, wrong button. So I'm a director of QA at a startup called Bluescape. It's a very interesting company for developing visual collaboration software. I encourage you to take a look. So what is essentially JIRA? JIRA is a framework. So what is framework? Framework is a kind of foundation where you can add additional plugins, and then you can change the functionality of the framework. So it's like a comb, and if you put something on each tooth, so it will be a different comb. So JIRA functionality is augmented or changed by adding different add-ons. So out of the box, JIRA comes with just support for a few issue types. So it's a requirements, bugs, and tasks. So there is nothing that supports test cases or tests. So what to do? And that's a topic of my presentation. So usually in the QA world, we are dealing with test cases, test plans, and test suites. And test suites group, of course, test cases logically, and that's there's a value of that here. And then one of the most important piece of the functionality that any test case management solution should provide is the traceability. And this is my traceability triangle, which is requirements, defects, and test cases. And we need to see how requirements are covered by test cases, and then which defects test cases discover, and which defects are associated with requirements. So it's a real triangle, and we need to know that piece. So my first requirement is test issue types should be an integral part of JIRA. What does it mean? So at the time I started the research and evaluation of different plugins, many plugins claim that they integrated with JIRA, but it was not real integration, it was connection. So what it means that there were two screens, one for JIRA and one for the test case management solution, and whatever we do in one screen was reflected in the other screen. So it's a bad design in terms of, because you need to know additional application, you need to have two browsers open, or if two tabs, then you need to switch between them. So the good solution is to have a test case issues, just another issue type within the JIRA. Then we use all power of JIRA with this approach. The second requirement is test cases should be visible on the agile board. That's absolutely clear because development of test cases requires some time, requires investment, so it affects the sprint scope. The third requirement is ability of creating hierarchical structure of test suites. So essentially what we are doing, we are creating functional decomposition model of your application. So you are grouping hierarchically functionality of your application, and then on the last leaf of that decomposition, you put your test cases. So this way, you can immediately see what is covered by test cases, what is not covered. So that's absolutely essential piece of any test case management solution that QA should use. My fourth requirement is test coverage. So this screen, you can see this is a story, this is a requirement, and there are test cases on the same screen, so you can see whether that story is covered or not. And now it's a very interesting slide. I will stop on this for a while. So as a QA professional, I came up with the following concept like 3 years ago. So we need to reuse the same test cases on multiple test plans. What does it mean? So we apply the same test case in testing different environments. For example, on Windows, the same functionality, on Mac, the same functionality, and so forth. So the results should not collide. So my concept was, let's consider test case as a document that does not have test results. And then we create instance of that test case, which is executable kind of instance. And we associate test results with that executable instance. So then, so that was the idea in the first version of the add-on I was talking about. It was implemented in synapseRT, but now they went even further. So we need to have a reusable test plans, not just test cases. So test plan is a collection of test cases. So we need to execute the same test plan, not just the test case, but bunch of test cases within the test plan for different environment. So in this case, test plan is kind of a document, and we need to create an instances, independent instances of test plans. So they call it cycles. So my analogy here, if you are familiar with programming, and I hope you are, so like in object-oriented programming, so test plans will be classes, and test cycles will be objects, instances of that classes. So that's so we have a cycle instance of that test plan for Firefox, for Chrome, for Safari. So it's executable instances. So that's I think very unique kind of feature. My sixth requirement is aggregated view of the test plan. So this is a test cases of the test plan, what I call like a static document, and this is a test cycles. So Android, web client, and these are the results, and these are the requirements that are covered by these test cases. And test management requirement matrix. So here we have requirements. Here we have a test cases that covers those requirements. And here we have a test plans, different test plans. And here we have a different cycles. So in this cycle, there is a bug.
for this found in this test case for this story. So here we have two cycles, one failed, one passed. So it's a very unique and good traceability matrix. And then, of course, on the dashboard, we need to have supported gadgets. So gadgets should provide detailed information. Here, just a few examples. Defect statistics by test cycle or overall test cycle status. Since we're doing test automation, another mandatory requirement for any tool is to provide a REST API to update test plan. So what we are doing, we are running usually Selenium automated scripts, and after that we need to update the test case results in the cycle. So we need to include in our automation scripts these calls to update test case result in the cycle. So we need to specify three parameters: test plan, cycle name within the test plan, and test case. And then we'll update those results. Another kind of unique requirement, I didn't see the implementation of it yet, but it's probably coming, but it would be nice to have. So capability to run automated tests and view test results directly from JIRA. So right now we are running some automated test cases from Jenkins, and you need to have access to Jenkins and so forth. So it would be very nice to have a capability to run automated tests on demand from test cycle. Just in test cycles, we can select test cases that are automated and just run it, and this will give a huge advantage to everyone, because then testers without any programming skills and access to JIRA can execute automated test cases and see immediately the results. Not just the testers, anyone who's interested in running automation will see. And now at the end, so this is my last commandment. You will see a recorded demo, and I will comment it. So now we have a story, and from the story we create a test case, and then test case edit, and you can see that this story is covered, and this is multiple test cases that can cover the same story. So now we need to create a test plan. So test plan, again, it's a part of JIRA, so it's the same. And then we look at the different test suites and then assign test cases from that test suite into the test plan. So this is a test cases from the suite. Now we create cycles, so instances of this test plan for execution. So now you see we have cycles here within the test plan. This is for Chrome, Firefox, and IE. And now we have a available instance of the cycle. So cycle can be executed by multiple different Q engineers, so we can assign who will do what. So now you will see that some of the tests will be executed by one tester, and another by another tester. So now this is a view of executable test cycle. This is a test case that was executed within the cycle. So it has different steps. So some passed, and now this step failed. So we can create immediately a bug from test case associated with that test case. So now you see, so here this defect was created. And if we look at the test cycle view, we see that there is one defect, and one test case was executed, the other test cases are not executed. So this is a defect in the test cycle, all defects. So it's very, very handy. And now you see the results of the different cycles. So this is another cycle, cycle 2. So they're independent. Everything passed in cycle 2, but cycle 1. So for Chrome we have problems. For Firefox, no. And this will be the last one, is a traceability matrix that shows what I showed you before. Okay, so I'm done a little bit, took a few more minutes, but again, I think this is, now I see all seats are taken. So yeah, it shows that this topic is still, despite the lunchtime, is still hot. So if you have questions, I will be more than happy to answer the question. It's way too. I disagree. So the question was, QA team does not want to be controlled, does not want to follow any process. What do I recommend? So it's too much for them. So you need to change the culture in your company. That's the answer. So this is a minimum. What the research was done that in any application, only 20% of application is used. Like a Microsoft Word, big application, but use only 20% anyway. So here's just a minimum, bare minimum that QA needs to do. They need to create test cases, they need to group them, they need to execute them, and they need to see immediately which requirements are covered. So this is not complex. Maybe the video was recorded too fast, but if you go slowly, after half an hour, you're very comfortable. The name of the plugin is called synapseRT from GoToGroup, and GoToGroup is located over there, just a few steps. No, test suite, it's not an issue type in JIRA. It's implemented differently. I don't know how it was implemented, but it's not an issue type. So there is on the left panel, there is an option, what I showed you. Just click there and you create it. You use it? Okay. Then at least two of us is using it. Any more questions? Presentation, you need to ask GoToGroup where to find the presentation. So there is a Jared over there. You can talk to him and he will give you more details.
See me at the booth.
Okay, so see you.
Is it your tool that he demoed?
Yes.
Okay, what's the name of the tool?
Synapse.
Synapse? Okay. Synapse RT.